All right, let's jump right in. We're 3 weeks into this conflict in the Gulf and, wow, the situation is not what anyone expected. It's shifting fast, and according to the analysis we're diving into today, is definitely not going America's way.
And the source material we're looking at is, well, it's pretty blunt about it. It says that right now, two things are just undeniably clear. First, an American victory, it's completely off the table. And second, the U.S. seems to be caught flat-footed. No viable plan, allies are backing away, options are dwindling, and, maybe most importantly, the clock is ticking.
Now, to really get this perspective, we have to talk about a new term the source is floating. You might have heard of TACO. That's Trump always chickens out. But the argument here is that we've moved past that. This isn't just about backing down anymore. It's about a massive, catastrophic miscalculation. And for that, the source has a new acronym, TAFU.
So let's start there. Let's look at how President Trump's own words and reactions are being read as, well, as signs of a seriously weakened position.
You know, what's so fascinating here is the psychology behind it all. Trump is a guy who, by all accounts, only respects power and strength. So the fact that he seems genuinely shocked that Iran actually dared to fight back, it's telling. The analysis points to this how dare they mindset, where America can strike whenever it wants, but any retaliation is seen as this unbelievable, shocking event.
And this quote, this just perfectly captures the contradiction at the very heart of the U.S. position, right? On one hand, you hear, we're the strongest, we don't need anybody. But in the very next breath, there's this frustration that allies aren't rushing to help. It kind of lays bare this growing feeling of being left out in the cold, of being isolated on the world stage.
So, while America seems to be struggling a bit, the source argues that Iran has just completely seized the moment, both strategically and psychologically. Let's break down how they're basically running the show now.
And the main stage for all of this? The Strait of Hormuz. We're talking about the single most important choke point for oil in the entire world. And according to this analysis, Iran has managed to turn this vital waterway into a strategic trap, a kill box, where they're the ones making all the rules.
So, how did they pull this off? Well, it's a pretty clever strategy. They've mined the deep water channels, which basically creates this super narrow lane that forces every single tanker to sail right along the Iranian coast. Now, ships literally have to call in for permission to pass. And get this, Iran's made it crystal clear that even if a ceasefire happens tomorrow, that strait stays shut until they get a permanent deal. That's some serious leverage.
And this isn't just about military tactics. Iran is playing a psychological game too. I mean, look at this. This is a direct message to the U.S. president, not from a diplomat, but from the Iranian military itself. They are openly, publicly taunting him on social media, saying, hey, wars are won on the battlefield, not on Twitter. This level of direct trash talk it's just something you don't really see.
But this whole thing is bigger than just ships and tweets. It's spilling over, becoming this messy, chaotic shadow war. And now you've got other countries involved, and it's being fought with some seriously high-tech disinformation.
Which brings us to probably the weirdest, most 21st century mystery of this entire conflict. It's a question that just blew up on social media. What on earth happened to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu?
The source lays out this absolutely bizarre chain of events. So first, Netanyahu just vanishes from public sight. Immediately, rumors start flying that he was targeted. Then, poof, a proof-of-life video pops up, showing him in a cafe. But almost instantly, AI experts are screaming that it's a deepfake. And then the whole thing just descends into farce, with people releasing AI videos of Kim Jong-un and Iranian leaders sitting in the exact same cafe drinking the exact same coffee. It's wild.
But here's the crucial point, and it's a smart one. It doesn't really matter if the video is real or fake. The source argues the takeaway is exactly the same either way. Whether Netanyahu was actually hit, or he's just in hiding because he's afraid of being hit, it points to a scary new reality. There is a profound fear of Iran's ability to strike with precision, and it goes all the way to the top. Leaders just don't feel safe anymore. Okay, so this growing fear, this regional chaos, it's all feeding into the next huge piece of this puzzle, the massive diplomatic and economic fallout that has left the United States looking almost totally on its own.
And, I mean, just look at this list. It shows you just how total the rejection has been. This isn't just one or two countries being hesitant. You've got Canada saying it will not ever get involved. You have staunch allies like the UK and France refusing to send their warships. And then you have NATO pretty much saying, look, this is your mess, you figure it out.
This slide just puts it in black and white, doesn't it?
The American plan seemed to count on a big coalition of friends showing up to help, but the reality? The world's response has been a massive, collective nope. The feeling seems to be that America created this problem so America can solve it alone.
And the fallout isn't just diplomatic. It is economically devastating. Check out this chart from Goldman Sachs. It shows what could happen if this war drags on for just a few more months. We are talking a 14% collapse in GDP for countries like Qatar and Kuwait. That's not a recession. That is an economic apocalypse for America's partners in the Gulf.
So you put it all together, the stalemate, the isolation, the economic crash, and it all leads to a much, much bigger question. One that's about the future of the entire global power structure.
Because while the U.S. is isolated and bogged down, another world power is very quietly making its move. China, after first calling for peace, is now strategically swooping in to offer humanitarian assistance. It's a classic power move, right? Positioning yourself as the calm, helpful adult in the room while your rival is busy putting out fires. And this right here, this is the most powerful, most provocative statement in the whole analysis. The argument is that future historians might look back at this war not just as some regional conflict, but as the turning point, the very moment that marked the beginning of the end of undisputed American dominance.
And that's really the question we're left with, isn't it? Are we watching, right now, in real time, the messy, chaotic birth of a new world order? One where the old guard is faltering and new powers are stepping up to take their place. It's definitely something to think about.